you have joined, so I'll introduce myself again.
Yeah,
Okay,
please.
so my name is Rohit Singh, and I am having total 15 plus years of experience in SAP Security and GRC. And currently, I am working with a US consulting firm. It's a and Before this organization, I have worked with multiple other organizations like Wipro, Accenture, Fujitsu, SCL, and IBM also. So
Okay.
this is all about my experience level. Now, from technical perspective, I have worked on ECC security implementation and support both. Then S4 HANA security implementation and support, BI system security, again implementation and support for and HR security. So it's a support part only. And apart from this, I have worked on latest technologies like SAP BTP security, SAP IAG implementation and support, then IAS, IPS system under SAP. These two are the integration systems for BTP, then GRC AC implementation and support, then GRC PC implementation and support.
Okay.
So that's all about me. Now, I would like you to introduce yourself with your experience levels so that we can continue this course.
Sure, Rohit. My name is Uday Shankar. I have 15 years of experience. Actually, what you have explained, I have more from a functional background. I also started my career in Wipro in 2008, and I have been more into like vendor oversight, third party risk management, IT risk, IT controls, IT audits, IT risk assurance. Now, my intention of taking up this course is because now over the years, if I was like 10 years back working in the TPRM field, people were trying to run the processes on PowerPoints, Excels. Then slowly OneTrust came, RSA Archer came, SAP GRC came. Now, obviously, everything is getting automated. Everything is getting embedded into either ERPs or softwares, and the TPRM landscape has changed. So my intention is to learn about a product like SAP GRC, and learn how to implement, because I'm good on the process part, but today organizations want that the processes should be in a software. So my intention is to learn SAP GRC so that I am able to use my functional experience but have a tool knowledge and technical knowledge of guiding organizations to implement a product and automate their existing TPRM processes, and also to learn how to migrate the data, existing data structures that they have collected over years in Excels and SharePoints and all that, into a defined GRC product. So I am also operating some controls where little of SAP experience or exposure I have, not much. I'm not from a core technical background. I have used SAP just to pull population reports, to collect samples, and to test in terms of my auditing experience. But my core is third party risk management. I want to um, gain some IT knowledge of TPRM product so that it will, help me use my functional experience in a better way.
Okay, got it. Ashlisha, could you please introduce yourself?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Ashlesha and I have around 5 years of experience in customer service. So I'm in a stage where I want to transition myself. I don't want to be in customer service anymore. So I thought this is not I'm not from an IT background, so I thought this SAP module will suit me. So that's why I'm here.
Okay, got it. Okay, so I think we should switch down to the technical part now. Let me just share the PPT just Okay. So today we'll be covering this. This is the agenda for today's call: introduction to SAP, then what is SAP security and GRC, why we need security and GRC, what all the modules available in SAP, then versions history of SAP, then we have the initial R3 architecture. We will be discussing this part, and at last we will be having the overview of the course content that we will be covering under this chapter, under this batch. So what is SAP? So SAP, basically the full form, it's derived from the three particular parts like systems. One is the system on which you are doing your stuff, and you are running your all the basic transactions and everything. Then second one is applications, on which application you are performing these transactions. That is the second part of SAP. And the third one is products. What all products you will be implementing in your system and application. So basically these three particular components of the industry comprises in a single format to process your data, day-to-day activities data, to process all your day-to-day activities data. Basically these three running applications you will be using to perform your day-to-day activities. So why SAP? So SAP is not just an entrepreneur or basically a software that your enterprise is going to use to perform resource planning and everything. Whatever thing you are doing under an organization, that thing you can manage through your SAP application. How come you can manage all those? Because SAP is further divided into subcategories like SAP FI finance, and SAP MM material management, SAP SD sales and distribution, then SAP PP production planning, SAP PS project system. So these all things comprises one product called SAP. And these all are the modules that you will see whenever you are working with SAP. These all modules are integrated to become one single software called SAP. So SAP is nothing. It's a tool that provides you the data processing of your organization. What any kind of data, like you are having one HR team, then you will be having SAP HR system. So all the HR related data that your organization is managing manually currently using tools like Excel, PowerPoint. So those things can be managed in a better way using SAP. So why SAP? SAP is just a tool that enables you to manage your data in a better way, or you can call it in a automated way also, because some of the modules right now running automation. So all those modules that you are seeing, so that is basically handled through SAP. So this is one of the thing. Now that this third point, SAP is the highest ERP market. So currently SAP is comprises of the 72% of the market, and rest all will be taken by the Oracle, Java, and other softwares like PeopleSoft, Microsoft Dynamics. And these are the other softwares that you will see: Oracle Financials, then Microsoft Dynamics, PeopleSoft. Mostly you will see PeopleSoft in the organization, then Lawman, Barn, JD Edwards. So these are the other SAP softwares, ERP softwares that you will see as a ERP packages or softwares. Apart from this, why ERP? Because in your organization, if you are doing manually all the processes handling part, then integration between two departments is really tough. Let's say you are having one department called HR, finance and MM, or you will take an example of finance and PP, production planning. So these two departments, if you are managing manually, then you will feel little bit hard in integrating them, because you are having two different data sources, and whenever one of the data sources is calling another data source, then it's really tough. But under SAP, when you are comprising these two different data under SAP, like data and FI data, so these two can be seamlessly transfer data between each other. So this is again a better thing you will see under SAP. So SAP is nothing but a tool that enables your organization to perform each and every kind of transaction, whatever possible, from an organization perspective. So under SAP, you will see classification based on the industry also. Like you will see one system called oil and gas. So SAP ONG is basically used for oil and gas. Then you will see SAP aerodynamic system, that is basically used by the organization where so basically that particular system is used by the organization like aerospace industry. So all those industries where you will see a manufacturing of a particular plane or aeroplanes, so those industry, or your industry is running directly on the aeroplane business, so that particular systems is designed in such a way that your organization can accept it in the same manner whatever it's delivered on the system. So this is basically two things. Just a minute. Uday, you can see my screen, right?
Yes, Rohit.
Ashlisha, are you there? Just a minute, I'm getting call from Unity. Just a minute.
Yeah, I can see now. I was not able to see it until now.
Uh, just a minute. Ashlisha is already there and Uday is already joined the call. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Yes, yes, two members are. Okay. So SAP is basically providing you the platform on which you can manage your organization's data. Okay. And it's not a particular area wise data, it's everything, whatever possible in an organization that can be handled through SAP. That's why most of the organization earlier using any other tool like Oracle or PeopleSoft, now they are coming down to SAP, because on SAP you will see latest technologies also like BTP. So on BTP, you can develop your own application and then deploy it, and then you can merge it with SAP system. So this is whatever latest technology, even you can run SAP on your mobile phones with the SAP Fiori technology currently. So these type of new development you will not see in any other applications like few PeopleSoft, Dynamics, Financial. So these applications does not provide you each and every facility, but SAP will give you an interface through which you can do all these things. So that's why most of the organization now coming to SAP, even it's a small or large scale organization, that doesn't matter, but mostly organization is right now using ERP software as SAP only. So this is the thing. Now we will come down to the next part. Why we need security in GRC, and what basically is security in GRC. So basically why we are calling security as a module in each and every organization. Who can access your data? So this is one of the things. Who can access your data? This is authentication. And what type of data should be accessed by that person if he can access your data? Then that is authorization. So these two concepts that you will see in your daily life whenever you are working in SAP security. So authentication and authorization. So what is authentication? So authentication, who all can access your data? Let's say you are having a SAP system in deployed on your organization level, and let's say organization identified only 10 persons out of their entire reach, like 500 people is working under the organization, and organization saying only 10% should access SAP because those 10% population of their organization is having a knowledge on SAP part, and rest all should not access SAP. How you will manage that part? Out of 500, you have to give access to 50 or 60 people only, 10%. So this thing can be controlled using security. This is first thing called authentication. Who all can access your SAP system? This is authentication. Now, out of those 50 people, who should have access and what type of access should be given to them? Let's say out of those 50 people, 5 is working under finance, then 10 is working under material management, 5 is working on SD, 5 is working under HR, 5 is working under any other technology, 5 is working under production planning. Now, how you will segregate these 5 or 10 members? This is through authorization. Authorization means what type of access is given to that person. So let's say finance team, what type of access should be given to finance team? Only finance data. He or she should be able to perform finance related activities. Can we give a finance member a non-finance related data like data or SD data access? No. Why? If we give him this access, will he be able to manage it? No. Apart from this, does his or her roles and responsibilities allows him to do that part? No. Because if a person is working under a finance team, he or she should be able to access finance related data. Now there is one more thing. Can he access data on a view basis or display basis? Yeah, that's up to the organization whether they want to share that data to that person or not. So, but he or she should not perform any transaction, any other type of create or change queries on any other data except security. So how you will manage it? Using authorization. So authentication is basically talks about who all can access your SAP system, and authorization, who after you have identified the list of users who can access your SAP system, what type of access should be given to that person based on their roles and responsibilities defined under the organizations. So these two concepts is handled through SAP security team. Now coming to GRC. So basically GRC enables you in doing your compliance related activities like on yearly basis. On yearly basis, you will see ITGC, IT General Controls. So this type of audit is performed by mostly organizations. So under this audit, you will see that they will ask you some type of data from the system. Then they will perform some analysis on that. And then based on those analysis, they will share their recommendation to the business that you should do this type of changes in your system. So why GRC is required? Previous to GRC, each and every auditing firm is doing this part manually. But right now through GRC, most of the things is handled automatically, or most of the things is handled in a better way. So these two things is provided by GRC. So whatever solutions or recommendations was given by auditing teams earlier under ITGC control audit part, that part is either automated or that part is either managed better through GRC application. And this helps you in doing regulations, and this helps you in doing the compliance part. And using GRC, you will see less risk to your system because through PC you can define your processes. Like GRC is having three different softwares. You can call it as AC, that is access control, then PC, process control, and then third one RM, that is risk management. So risk can be of three different types, like access related risk, then process related risk, and then organizational level risk. So access related risk is handled through AC, process related risk is handled through PC, and RM, risk management or organizational level risk, is handled through RM model. Okay, so these three different software constitute one application called SAP GRC. Okay, and under this application, whenever I'm calling it AC, so whatever risk related to access, that will be handled through AC. Process related risk, like you are seeing one process is running in your system. Let's say it's a R2R, record to report, or procure to pay. So whenever you are getting a goods receipt and all those things, so if you have identified any risk in your system, that you can manage through PC. So GRC is basically, you will see three different naming convention for this: governance, risk, and compliance. So one, it will give you a end-to-end governance model on your running SAP applications. So GRC can be integrated with any other SAP application or non-SAP applications also, but not for cloud applications. GRC is only designed for in-house applications, not for cloud applications. And IAG is similar to GRC AC, and that is basically deployed for cloud applications like BTP, IAS, IPS. So these success factors, so all those things can be handled through IAG. What is cloud-based applications and what is non-cloud-based application? If any application is deployed on your organization level, like you have a server for that, and it's hosted on that server, and then you will be using those things at your level only, then this is a in-house application. And what is cloud application? A particular server is deployed by SAP for everyone, and then you will be accessing that application using web browser. You are just running that application using a web browser, and that application is shared among multiple vendors by SAP. Let's say your organization is using the same, then any other organization is using the same, and they will just create a separate box as per the organization. Over there, it's a limited option of you can, so what it called, it's a limited option of doing uh, changes in the system. But if you have deployed that application at your level, then you can do the changes. But in cloud-based application, the modification option is limited because that particular software is deployed at multiple organization levels. I think till here you are clear with introduction to SAP and what is SAP security and GRC. Any questions?
Yeah, Rohit, sir, thank you. Very well explained. This one question: when you mean cloud-based applications, like if I have a software developed by my own firm, which is hosted on-prem or in-house, that can be very easily integrated with GRC. But suppose if I have some modules which I have subscribed in OneTrust, which is hosted on cloud, that integration is not possible, is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So whatever application it's hosted on cloud platform, that you cannot integrate with GRC. For that, IAG is developed, SAP IAG. So IAG is basically developed for cloud-based applications only.
So IAG is like a twin of GRC with access controls, process controls, organization
No,
controls,
so
but
GRC comprises of three applications: AC, PC, and RM, and IAG
correct.
comprises of one application called AC.
Okay, access control. Got it.
Okay, and in
Okay,
IAG, there are other limitations also that we will discuss later. But under
sure.
GRC, it's an end-to-end application that you can deploy at your level, and then you can customize as well. But in IAG, customization options is limited, and some of the features that GRC delivers, that is not there
Right.
in IAG.
Okay, and the normal deployment of GRC today is on cloud itself, right? Like, is it SAP cloud or you?
Mostly organization, it's doing at organization level. So it's an in-house deployment.
Okay, okay,
But if you
okay,
want, you
on-prem.
can deploy it on the server also. So these two are the things.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other question? Okay. So now, why security or GRC? So I already told you that security is basically used to secure your data. Let's say you have deployed GRC or SAP application like S4 HANA or ECC security at premise level. Now, without security, will you be able to manage your system? No, because you don't know who should be given access and what type of access should be given to that user. These two are the important things, and without this, you will not be able to manage your application. If you will not use security or GRC, no one will be able to understand what type of access is given to a person and why that access is given to a person. Let's say in a nearby term, so most of the organization is using quarterly or bi-yearly audit part. So in audit, they will identify that these are the gaps. Your users is having extra access in the system. You should be having a limited access given to the users as per their rules and responsibilities. So if you are not using GRC, then under audit, they will identify all these points that all the team members is having extra access in the system for which they do not need access, and they should not be given access because it's a risk. Let's say your single person can access multiple other applications, then this is again a risk. He can do anything in that system if he is having like all the accesses in the SAP. So this is again a concern for the organization or a risk to the organization, because whatever data that is deployed on SAP level, that access is available publicly. So anyone can access their GRC application, and he can access and read that data as well. And he can perform some transactions as well if access is up to that level. So it's a risk to the entire application system level as well as data level. So these are the two things why security and GRC comes into picture. Security comes into picture for authentication and authorization purpose, so that limited access and limited users should be able to access your GRC application. And GRC comes into picture so that you will get a governance for your entire application, as well as you will be having remediation strategies or compliance level strategies given to your system, and you can provide end-to-end compliance as well to your organization, so that under audit no conflicts will be raised by the auditors. So these two things is given by SAP security and SAP GRC. Okay, so earlier I told you some modules. So these are the modules available under SAP, like SAP Security Admin. Then one basis team is also there that will handle the SAP application at infrastructure level, installation, uninstallation, then deployment at server level, or hosting the application at cloud level. So those all activities will be done by SAP basis team. Then SAP Security team, Security Admin or Security team will handle the authorization or authentication as well as governance related activities through GRC. Then SAP HR. HR team will manage the HR data of the organization. Then PP, production planning. Whatever, let's say your organization is a industry where production is going on. So in that case, you will be needing one PP team who will be taking care by the production head of your organization. He or she will be taking the decisions at their levels, and then those decisions will be implemented under SAP PP. Then there is one more team, SAP MM, that is for material management. Then SAP SRM. Then SAP Net Admin is also there. SAP SD Sales and Distribution. SAP FICO, Finance and CO is something I forgot the name convention. So Finance and CO. SAP CRM, Customer Relationship Management. Then this SAP SRM is Supplier Relationship Management. Then SAP BI BW. So basically BW is Business Warehouse. Then SAP NAT EP Enterprise Portal. If your application or if your organization is having their own enterprise portal, then you can integrate it using SAP EP. Then SAP XI is one another technology. So there are multiple. Then one more is there, SAP PS, that is for project systems. Apart from this, there are other technologies also, like SuccessFactor, newly introduced for SAP HR on cloud-based platforms. Then Ariba is one more application that is used for reporting purpose. So these all applications, whenever come down to a application level, so each and every module of SAP is can be integrated with any other module in a seamless way. That's why this application called SAP, like SAP SD can be integrated with HR, SAP FICO can be integrated with PP. So this seamless data transfer between two departments is coming from SAP. These departments are available in other applications also apart from SAP, like PeopleSoft and any other tool. But that seamless integration is not possible in those tools. That's why SAP is right now on the used by most of the organizations. So these are all the modules available in SAP, and each and every module is designed based on the areas available under an organization. Like mostly you will see each and every organization is having FI. So mostly you will see FICO is deployed in SAP for most of the organization, because finance is the main block of an organization, and that block constitutes of most of the activities where you will be having your yearly reports or monthly reports, whatever profit and loss, all those statements you will generate from finance team. So most of the organization is using SAP FI or CO module of SAP. It's not mandatory you have to deploy all the modules. Whatever modules is required for your organization, you can deploy those modules and you can use SAP software, because that seamless integration between modules is already there. You have to just upload your data and use it. And then after, once you uploaded your data, you have to perform the transaction in SAP on a real-time basis, and then those data will be available on SAP. And you can perform reporting through Ariba or tools like BW. So these tools will help you in generating the reports very fast. If you just provide some basic inputs to the system, you will be getting your yearly reports, or you will be getting your monthly reports. Whatever type of reports you want to generate from these systems, those reports will be published in a faster way, or you will see those reports in a better look and feel also through Ariba. So that application is basically designed on top of SAP PowerPoint, and then you will be seeing the curves, graphs over there. So those applications will run on top of SAP and will give you a better picture of your organization's entire growth. Okay, any questions?
No.
Okay. Now, so versions of SAP. So initially in 1972, there is a application called SAP R2. Why R2? R2 refers to two applications only. Under application SAP, there are two platforms available to deploy SAP. One is application layer, and the second one is the presentation layer. There is no three-level architecture at that time, and that application is deployed on top of mainframe systems. Now in 1992, there's a upgrade to this system, and SAP comes with three-layer architecture. One is client, server, and database. So previous to this, you are having two applications. One is application layer, that is none other than your database layer also. And the second one is your front end layer, where you will be deploying your SAP applications. But now this architecture constitutes of three things. One is front end layer, your SAP GUI application. Then the second one is application layer, hosted on a different server. Then the third one is the database layer, that is hosted on a different server. And these three layers can transmit data to and fro. So it's a two-layer communication between these three layers. So that's why it's SAP R3. R3 means three-layer architecture. Then the third one is SAP RP. It's also a three-layer architecture, but now they have provided some enhancement in their systems to manage your data in a better way. And this was introduced in 2004. Then we are having SAP HANA. What is SAP HANA? HANA is basically a database. It's like Azure and any other database that is available in your in this world right now. So HANA is basically you are having, so I'll tell you in more simpler way. So you are having two types of memory. One is physical and the second one is, or you can call it as random memory, and the second one is as permanent memory. So hard disk is a permanent memory, but your RAM is a secondary memory. Can you store data on RAM? No, you cannot store data. But if you are doing transactions on RAM, it's very, very fast as compared to hard disk. So HANA is nothing but a RAM-based architecture. So whenever you will start your system, all your data from hard disk is loaded to a RAM application, and all the transaction is performed on RAM. So it's a very fast architecture. Whenever you are running a reports for millions of records, you will see the results in another 10 to 15 minutes. But if you are trying to perform this type of reporting activities on ERP or SAP R3 application, that will take around 4 to 5 hours or even more than that, because in processing millions of records, system will take time. But in RAM, system won't take time because it's 10 times faster than the normal databases. So HANA is basically a database and SAP is running on top of HANA database. That's why it's called SAP HANA. So whenever you are doing transactions in real time or on RAM based memories, so it's a 10 times faster processing of the data. And that is particularly running on HANA database. So you will see results in faster way. Let's say last time you have used one report in R3, and at that time that system is taking 10 hours. So now in SAP HANA, that report will take only 1 hour. So this will save your time, your organization's time, you don't need more manpower because time is reduced in reporting and other stuff. Even in transactions, processing and all other things, you will see a faster memory response. So SAP HANA is basically SAP ERP software deployed on HANA database. Now suit on HANA. So previous to this, SAP HANA, it's basically designed for finance part, but now suit on HANA, SAP Finance with other modules is deployed on HANA. So each and every, so from 2004 to 2011, only finance is deployed on SAP HANA. But from 2013 onwards, you will see SD, FICO, then after FICO, then we are having PP, PS. So all those things now deployed on SAP HANA. That's why they are calling it as suite on HANA. Initially, they have deployed only finance and some part of material management and some part of SD. These three are the more basic modules used by most of the organization. That's why initially they have deployed these three modules. And later they have deployed other modules also under suite on HANA. Now SAP S4 HANA. Why S4 HANA? S4 means they are providing you new technologies as well. Like now SAP HANA can be deployed on phone-based applications. You can use Fiori. Fiori is integrated with SAP S4 HANA. It's a front-end tool to access SAP HANA backend system. And that Fiori you can enable on your mobile phones also. So if there is an approval request, then person who is allowed to approve those requests can access SAP in real time using mobile phones. So this type of architecture was initially introduced in 2015, and now up to this time most of the applications are available on Fiori. Even you can run transactions also on Fiori. Initially it was approval level only in 2015, but now you can run transactions on Fiori. Like you can just log into your mobile phone and you can perform each and every transaction, whatever applicable in whatever available in SAP S4 HANA, that you will manually doing using your laptop earlier, but now that can be performed using mobile phones also. So this type of technology is developed under SAP S4 HANA on top of HANA database. Now SAP S4 HANA Intelligent ERP, SAP Cloud Platform. Now they have integrated some SAP Cloud platforms also with SAP S4 HANA. And this was earlier introduced in 2018. Now, each and every month, you will see a version release for that particular system. So every time SAP is doing some hit and trials, and they are just doing some other stuff also, analyzing, so that after every 3 months, you will see something enabled or something supported in a better way. So let's say in initial version, you will see most of the issues. So after every 3 months, you will see a release from SAP under all the applications. So some of the applications, some of the organization is currently using SAP ERP system also. So they are getting a support from SAP. Okay, they are getting support from SAP. But each and every time, whenever SAP introduced a new application, they will stop providing support to the earlier applications. Like whenever SAP S4 HANA introduced, they said that till 2025 we will provide support for ERP application. After that, SAP will not handle ERP application. So once you get this type of information, organizations who was earlier using ERP application, those will start transitioning from ERP to SAP S4 HANA or SAP Suite on HANA, whatever feasible for them, they will start with the transition part. Okay, so these type of applications was developed by SAP, and this is the period. So till from 1972 to till this date, you will see multiple applications given by SAP. And in the same way, you will see GRC also. GRC 5.2, 5.3, then GRC 10. Earlier GRC, from GRC 5.2 to 10, it's basically a more from the technical perspective. But GRC 10, 10.1 and 12, these three are the versions you will see in GRC from the upgrade perspective. So these are the applications given by SAP. Now let's see some demo on SAP. Okay, let me log into SAP. Hope you can see my screen, right? SAP logon page, you can see SAP logon 770 page. It's visible to you, right? Both of you.
Yes, yes.
Ashlisha?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So this basically is a front end layer. So right now I have explained C architecture. This is a front end layer through which you will be accessing your application. Whenever I double click on this, so another server is connected to my application. What's that server is? That is application layer. And whenever I perform some transaction and click on save, another server is called, that is database layer. And these three servers are deployed on three different locations and on three different servers. How they are integrated? Using SAP R3 architecture. Okay. So let's say I put, what is this? This is what? Is it authentication or authorization? Tell me.
This is
Authentication.
authentication.
Okay. So you understood, right? What is authentication? Authentication is nothing but who can access your SAP application. Till here, it's authentication. Now I am running something. This is, let's say I am running SU01. This is one transaction. Now system will ask whether you can access this particular application or not. This is called authorization. Whether you are eligible for this transaction code or not. Whether your rules and responsibilities allow you to perform this transaction or not. This is called authorization. So this is the demo of the system. So basically, this is the look and feel of this SAP application. And just a minute. So how you will control SU01 will help you in authentication part, who can access your application, and /OPFCG. This is the another transaction that will help you in doing your authorization part. Here you will define one role, and that role will be assigned to user. This role, let's say one role is there, and this role you can assign to this user, and then it will restrict user from accessing any other area if he is not supposed to access that area. So these are the two tools. SU01 is basically used for user maintenance, and PFCG is basically used for role maintenance. And role is nothing but what type of access should be given to a user. That access you will be putting under role, and that role you will be assigning to the user. So this is basically used for authorization, and this is basically used for this is basically used for authentication. So right now I used one ID that is called King. So if I'll open that King, you will see this thing. King, this is SAP King. Okay, so I have used this ID. What all details available here? Title, last name, first name, academic title, complete name, language, function, department, room number, telephone, mobile number, fax, email ID. So all these are the basic details of that particular user. So right now my name is Rohit Singh. So I am putting Rohit under the first name, Singh under the last name. Then we will come down function. Let's say I am part of IT. So I'll put IT. Department is IT. Phone number, telephone number, mobile number, fax, your email ID, your organization with the email ID. Let's say you are part of Wipro. So you will put your name dot last name @wipro.com. So basically this is the format mostly organization is using. So once you fill all these details, you will come down to this second tab. Here you will see these options like alias. Alias is nothing but you are providing one another user reference over here. Then user type, basically you will see 5 types of user: dialog, system, communication, data, reference, service. So these 5 types of user available over here. Then password status is what type of password. Let's say I am setting some password for you to log in, then that will be a initial password. Once you change this password, then that password status turned down to be productive password. Let's say I have changed the password of this user and I'll put welcome123 or welcome1234 and I'll click on save. Then this password status will display you as a initial password because it's done by a administrator. But once user login through King user and he changed the password, then that password status will change to productive password. Now then we have user group concept. This is basically used for authorization perspective. So this user group, if you will decide in your rules, then based on the access, user can change or display this user. Okay, then valid from, let's say you want this user to be enabled from next month, then you will provide next month date. If user is running from today only, he joined the organization and will work on SAP from today, then you will provide today's date. If he will join later after 10 days, then you will provide later 10 days date. Okay, and valid through you can provide as per your organization's policies. Mostly organization is following 1 year validity, and at the end of the year they will extend the validity based on the approvals from manager. This is an audit activity. Who suggested the organization to have this type of policy? Auditor suggested. Why? Because they have identified some gap in the earlier ITGC audit part, and they have suggested the organization to keep valid through date with 1 year validity only, so that every year, whenever in the end of the year in March or December, your security team will share the list of users with all the heads like finance head, head, SD head, all the heads, and they need to confirm whether those users are still working with the organization or not. If they have received the confirmation, then they will extend the validity by 1 more year, else they will discard the user without extending the validity. So this is another activity of auditing. Account number, cost center, then SNC. What is SNC? So this basically, SNC is basically, you will see SSO, single sign-on. Have you heard of this word earlier? SSO?
Yes.
Okay, what's the use of this SSO?
Like if you log in through SSO, you can access most of your organizational sort of applications with one-time authentication.
Okay. Any other guesses? Okay, I'll tell you. So earlier you see this page, right? Whenever I clicks on this screen opens, right? What this screen tells you that you have to enter your credentials every time. Whenever I click on this application, you need to enter your credentials again and again. So using SSO, this particular screen is disabled. System will take your credentials from Windows login, and from there you will be able to log in. So this particular SNC, right now SNC is not enabled on this application. It will be enabled by basis team. So configuration is done by basis team, but once configuration is done, you will see this status turns to green and it will show you SNC is active on this application server. Then what you need to do, you have to put one string over here. That string mostly starts with P is equal to CN colon, whatever the name of the user, and then your organization's connectivity name. This is the format. Once you paste it over here and click on save, then next time when I come down to this string, sorry, this one, and I double click on this one, you won't see this screen. You will directly log into the SAP system. So this is the benefit. You don't need to waste your time in login again and again. When this work, whenever you will be using your organization given laptop to you, because that laptop enables organization in giving you the priority in saving your time as well, that you are the same user who is having access to SAP and you will be mapped to this ID under this system. So a mapping is done with your Windows ID and SAP ID. And whenever you will use that Windows ID, your map, you will be able to log in using that SAP ID. Okay. So this is basically a feature given by SAP where you can save your time. Defaults. So every time you log into SAP, there is a language option. So SAP is available in multiple languages: English, Portuguese, then Greek, any other language, Spanish, Chinese. So every language is available in SAP. So whatever language I'll choose over here, even on login screen, you can change this language option. Whenever you click on this, you will see this user ID, password, user and user ID password option, and then log on language, this English. Right now it's English. I can change it to any other language. If your application is deployed or available in that language, then you will be able to access that language. This is client concept. This I'll explain later. But that language you can set over here as well. Okay. If you want to log in with any other language, you can mention it over here. Right now, these many languages are there. Okay. Then decimal notation, three types of options are there: comma, point, dot, comma. So these three options are there. Whatever you are using in your area, like a US based organization is mostly using this format. In India, you will see this format: 1 comma 2 3 4 comma 5 6 7.89. So 0.89 denotes these are the two values in point numbers. Okay, date format, date, month, year. So all these formats are there. Whatever, where you will use these features. So whenever you are running a report in the system and whenever you will see a date option in your records, or you are trying to perform some transactions in SAP, so all those things will be using these formats only. Okay, let's say a date format is available under your finance transaction. So how system will choose that date format? From here, whatever date format you will mention here, that same format is applicable to that user in all the applications or across applications. Okay, in the same way, time format, date format. Now, let's say your organization is using one output device, one printer. You will print your record. So you can mention that printer over here, and configuration will be done by basis same. You have to just select whether print immediately. If you click on print, then if you choose this icon, print immediately will work for that user. You know that user won't see any page further, that whether you want to print it or not in this way. So once he clicks on print, it will automatically go to the printer and print it over there. Delete after output. Once output is done, whether you want to delete that output, if yes, then it will again trigger a log for the user. Then time zone, you can mention it. Now the next one is parameters feature. This is an advanced concept. We'll cover it later, but this parameters part basically used. So in your application, somewhere you want that data to be filled automatically, right? Like I'll tell you one example. In your organization, you are filling one PO, purchase order, or you are uh, approving some purchase order. So every time whenever you are approving or filling that purchase order, your name should be entered. So do you want that name to be entered manually each and every time? No, you don't want it because it's a waste of time. So you can provide that field ID over here, like Pro 10, Pro 9. So that field must be having one field ID. Okay, you can provide that field ID and parameter value your name. Once you save it, every time you open that application and you go to that page, you will see your name is auto populated. Okay, so that type of feature is giving through this tab. Okay, so you can change it. If you click on that, you can change it, but you don't need to fill it again and again. So this is the functionality given by SAP so that you can save your time. Now this roles concept. Till here, it's a basic information and used to have feature, good to have features by SAP. Whether you want to use it or not, it's up to you, but feature is given. And this part is basically used for authentication. Now, from these two concepts, roles and profiles is basically concept designed by SAP for authorization. So before this, I show you one screen, that is role. This is. So over here, you will create, maintain, delete, copy, transfer. So roles can be created or maintained over here, but how you will map it with the user through this tab. Over here, you are assigning the role. So if I'll click on this one and I'll open this role under this field, PFCG. So this role is there in the system. Okay, so I have just copied this role from here and given to this user. So what this is, role administrator given to this ID. Okay, roles and profiles. So profiles is basically a term that is equivalent to role, but system, your SAP application cannot understand roles concept. Okay, and profiles is designed in such a way that it's a machine language and SAP can understand profiles. So roles is basically used by consultant to create or develop profiles. Okay, so each and every role. So this role is having a, if I'll just go to this menu tab, just a minute, let me open one. Okay, so this is one GRC application. So if you go down to the authorization, for your understanding perspective, so if you go down, you will see a mapping of profile under this role. This is not generated. So over here, whenever this rule is turned down to green, you will see a profile name. Let's open another role. Okay, let's open this one. Okay. Okay, over here you can see this profile. This profile is nothing but this one only. Okay, this profiles tab only. So whenever you will assign a rule, you will see a profile is automatically added to this tab. Okay, you don't need to add profiles manually. From where it's coming, this profile over here. So once you open the role in this roles tab, you will see, let me just close this one. Over here, let's say this role is assigned to this user. Okay, let's say I am assigning this role to this user, then a profile. Okay, let's say I'm assigning this role to a user, then you will see this profile will be assigned automatically. Okay, why? I'll tell you why. So roles cannot be understood by SAP application. It's basically designed so that you can work perfectly fine with authorization concept. Okay, so that you can define restrictions at data level for business users. So it's basically roles is basically developed so that you can understand the system and you can define roles in a interactive way, so that you will feel what type of access should be given to the user and you are giving exactly the same access using roles. But can SAP system understand roles? No, SAP system cannot understand roles. SAP system can understand profiles, because profiles is defined in such a way so that SAP can understand what access should be allowed to the user and what all access should be restricted from the user's approach. Okay, so roles, each and every role is having one profile, and whenever you will assign that role to a user, you will see a one profile automatically assigned to that user. System will understand profiles concept, and consultant or the security team will understand the roles concept. But whenever you will generate a role, a profile is given to the role, and once you assign that role to the user, a profile is automatically assigned to the user. Okay, so these two are the concept. Roles is used by consultants and profiles is used by application. Okay, got it? Now this groups concept. This is again one more concept in SAP where you will see that these are the groups assigned, and this basically this group is used for reporting purpose. Let's say this user, I'll give it to the security team and you want to run the report. Let's say you are running a report and you want to identify who all is part of security team. Okay, then whatever users is assigned under the security group, under this tab, all those users will be displayed to you that these are the users under security team working for your organization. Got it? So this groups part is basically used for reporting purpose. This personalization is used by other team members under SRM and CRM systems. So that is an advanced concept. And this license data part. This license data part is basically your organization whenever purchased this SAP application from SAP, at that time they have purchased licenses also. Let's say they have purchased, so each and every organization must be having around 5 to 10 professional licenses, and professional licenses is assigned to finance team as well as consultants. Each and every consultant is having a professional license. Why professional license is required? Because that person is trying to do some calculations or is trying to perform some transactions in the system, as well as he will be using troubleshooting skills for their supporting part. So all those is covered under professional licenses. Apart from this, finance related transactions are part of professional licenses. Okay, so there are other licenses like employee licenses where you will see so let's say your organization is having 5 to 10 display users, or those users who is just running the reports in SAP application. So for those users you can allow employee licenses. So it's basically on the contract signed by your organization with the SAP, and how they have discussed at that time, what type of licenses they have allowed or what type of negotiations they have performed with SAP. It depends on that. So basically it's not a fixed part. Let's say only employee licenses can be given. It's up to the negotiations done by your organization with the SAP, and based on those negotiations your organization will be given the number of licenses and based on those number of licenses, you will be assigning the licenses to the users in the SAP application. Okay. So this
Rohit,
is,
can I?
yeah.
Rohit, this just going back to roles a bit.
Okay.
This edit access, view access, can be defined under role or profile.
So it's defined under roles as well as profiles. So
Understood.
basically roles is for your understanding.
Okay.
Okay. And profiles is for system understanding. Both are same. Whenever you will generate a role, a profile is assigned to a role. That's what I showed you earlier, right? Whenever you will see one profile option blank for a role, right? At that time, it's not generated. But this is also not generated, but it's generated. It's not current. Okay, that's why this profile name is coming. Over there, that is not generated. That's why it's blank. But if it's generated once or twice, you will see this profile name. And these two are same. This role admin is same and this profile is same. Okay, even if you assign this profile to this user, whatever access is there in this role, user can access all those activities. Okay,
Okay.
without assigning the role, and you just assign this profile, it will work for that user. Because system can understand profile, not role. But for your understanding, role must be assigned and profile should be assigned automatically.
Okay. So, like for example, if I or some individual joins an organization, so the person is going to perform a reporting role. He or she is in the finance department and will need access to say FICO module. He will need access to download reports to produce some analytics. So
Okay.
while assigning access to SAP, can you just explain how that scenario will play out?
Okay.
Or
So
maybe in
let's,
future, if you are anyway going to demo it, we'll see
okay,
that.
I'll tell you one thing. Let's say this user belongs to finance team. Okay. And he
Correct.
will be using the reporting architecture of finance. No other activities will be performed by this user. So this
Okay.
king is created as such. There will be no difference because you have to just change the user ID, first name, last name. That let's say your my name is there, Rohit Singh. So I'll put Rohit Singh and provide one ID over here, R Singh. Okay. And then
Okay.
save it. This is up to here. It's just allowing the user to access SAP. You haven't assigned any roles or profiles. But when you come down to the roles, each and every application in SAP is having an activity associated with it. Let's say each and every transaction, maybe a transaction can be of three types. Okay, it's a creation transaction, modification transaction, or it's both. It's creation and modification. In creation transaction, you will see modification as well as display. In modification transaction, you will see modification and display. In display transaction, you will see display only. Okay.
Okay.
So if you have defined a rule, let's say that person will be having access to two transactions. Okay. One is display transaction indeed, and the second one is he wants creation transaction as a display transaction. Okay. These two transactions is required by that user. You will create one role and you will give access to those two transactions. Okay. One transaction is display, so no need to do any further analytics or no need to restrict that user on that transaction level because it's a display transaction. But the transaction which is having create as well as display option or as well as maintain option, in that case you have to assign that transaction for sure. But under activity you will be giving 03, and that 03 denotes display part. One is create, two is change, and three is display. So whenever you are giving 03 activity with transaction access, that means user cannot do any transaction level activities like create, change, but he can display that transaction. Understood? And that role you have to generate. Then that role will be having one profile with it. And once you assign that role to this king user, and then you will see that profile will be assigned automatically. And once you save it, then whenever that user logs in, first of all, you will see this change. This transaction, this product initial password will change to productive password because user logs in successfully. Now, the second thing is whenever user will perform any other transaction apart from those two transactions, user will see you are not authorized to run this transaction. This is first error. Whenever he will run those two transactions, he will be successful because those two transactions is added under this role. Let's say this role is having access to those two transactions and this is assigned to this user. That's why he can access those two transactions. But this part is not understood by SAP. This is for your reference. In profiles, it's a really tedious task to maintain all those things. But under roles, the look and feel is changed by SAP so that you can understand the things in better way. Okay, so this is nothing but a concept designed by SAP so that you can manage security in a better way. So whenever you will assign this thing, only you can understood it. But whenever this profile is defined in the system, then system can understand that this user is allowed for two transactions. Got it?
Got it. Got it. Just one more related question. Roles and profiles is clear. What is the relationship between these two groups that you explained?
Okay, so these two groups, just a minute. Okay, so you are talking about this one. Okay, so this group is basically used for reporting purpose. Okay, and the group that is defined over here is basically used for authorization purpose. Let's say you are saying that you can that this user is assigned to super user group. Now there is a scenario defined by business and they are saying that only security team can change the group, only security team can change those users who are part of super user group, and rest all users will be handled by any other team. Okay, so in that scenario, you will be giving this access through roles, and rest all access is disabled for security team. And then for other team, you want to give this access to that team, and rest all access is given to that another team. Then what will happen? Once you log into this application and you will run SU01. SU01 is used for user maintenance, right? So once you use SU01 and you come down to this user, so you can change it because this user belongs to super user group. But if you are using any other user like King2 is there and that user is part of any other team like Super2 or Super3 user group, then you won't be able to change it. You will see one error. You are not authorized to change user groups under Super3 user group. Why?
Okay.
Because this user group is used as a restriction in the system. So over this groups cannot be used for restrictions under rules, but this part can be used as a restriction part. Got it? So this is basically used for authorization.
So basically allocation of roles or profiles to certain codes like SU01, the individuals assigned to SU01 will belong to the the privileged access ones from security team who can actually modify roles. But if I am assigned to SU02 group, then I will not be able to do anything of user creation modification.
No, you did not understand the concept. This concept comes into picture so that you can restrict user at data level also. Okay. So this concept, this group concept is available in other transactions also, like finance transaction. Over there, you will see group at data level. Why? So that you can restrict accessing the users from all the data. Got it?
Okay.
So let's say your organization is having 100 users. Okay, and you don't want your entire team should be able to maintain all those users. Just understand the scenario. Your business is having 100 users. Okay, and there in business you will be having classification, management level pupils like CEO, senior managers. Those count is 20. Now you don't want your junior security team members should do anything on those users. Okay, how you will maintain it? Using this criteria. Okay, so you will assign those 20 members to management group. You will maintain over here management, right? Under super, you will create one user group and maintain over here management. Now, let's say your junior team members is not, don't have that much level of experience. So you don't want any trouble at that level so that it will be come back to you in a negative way. So those 20 users Who will maintain those 20 users? Your senior security team members. And rest 80 members, you will be giving access under normal users. Let's say you have created another group normal, and those 80 normal groups user access will be given to your junior team members. Understood the scenario? So this is basically used to restrict at data level. What type of access should be given to a user under this transaction at data level that can be restricted through these groups. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Any other question? Okay, so I'll come down to this part again. So I won't take more than 5 minutes. You are free. Just a minute. So PPT is visible now, right?
Yes.
Okay. So demo is done. These three, this is R3 architecture presentation layer. This SAP GUI, whatever you have seen just now, that is presentation layer, where you will be accessing the SAP application. Then there is one another layer on which that application is running. That is a server on which that application is running. Then there is one more server on which your database is deployed. And these three are interconnected so that you can perform your transactions. Okay, now what all we will covering in this particular batch. So under security, we will be having your overview of SAP basic settings, SAP navigation, then SAP R3 user administration, different security roles, concept and setup, then security tables, transaction codes, troubleshooting, security authorization and profile parameters. And under GRC, we will be covering AC part, and under AC, there are 4 submodules. One is ARA, ARM, BRM, and EAM. So all those we will be covering from end-to-end part, like implementation to support. Okay, so this is risk analysis, this is ARA, access risk analysis, and then you will be having super user privilege management. This is EM and EM. Then we will be having ARM, compliant user provisioning, that is access request management, and then the last one is the BRM, business role management. So these 4 submodules will be covering from implementation or configuration perspective to the support part as well. So this is the overview of the content that we'll be covering under this batch. Now, if you have any questions, anything that you want to discuss, then you can connect with this mobile number, or you can check this website as well. Okay. So any questions? If you have any questions, you can ask, or we can close the call if there are no further questions.
So will there be practical demos?
Yes. So everything is practical only. There will be nothing called bookish knowledge. Everything is practical only. You will be working on SAP applications. You will see SAP, how we are designing the roles, how we will create roles, how we will deploy roles, how we will transfer roles. Then under GRC, how we are doing the configuration for GRC. End-to-end part will be covered on system only. It's not bookish that I'll tell you that you have to do this, that. No, I'll show you how we will be doing it in the system.
Okay, great. And you will see, I am basically from an auditing background, so you will help understand even from an auditor's perspective, correct? What they look for.
If you have any questions, you can ask. No issues on that.
Okay.
Let's say
thank you.
I did not explain you in the auditing part, then you can ask me. If you have anything, you can ask me that from auditing perspective, how this is helpful for me. So I'll tell you how that will work for you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, Alicia.
Yeah, I just want to know, this is also very new to me, so it's taking time for me to grasp. So I just want to know that, I'm a slow learner in this because it's all very, very new to me, all this concept.
Okay.
And how are we going to get the application access?
That you need to connect with Geeks team. They will help you in getting the access.
Okay. And are we going to get this material so
Yes,
that we
you will
can
be
go
getting the
through?
recordings as well as the materials. Whatever I'll be sharing with the team, that you will get it. So this PPT will be available and then you can download it from there. But videos you cannot download it, but you will be getting the display access for that. So that will be there for lifetime with you. You can see those videos again and again and then learn the things over there.
But they that will be done end of the sessions or for each session?
For each session, you will get it on the same day or on the next day.
Okay. All right. All right.
If you have any questions, you can just go through those videos again and again. And if you have any questions, then in the next session, you can ask me. No issues.
Okay.
Okay.
So one last question, Rohit. One last
Hmm.
question from me.
Yes.
So from a admin perspective, you will teach us how to create roles. There in the what to say, the instance which we will be practicing, I can also log in as a user and check what access I got from the admin and all that, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much.
Any other questions?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you all. Thanks for your time.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye bye.